Good afternoon, students.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome to Agricultural Science, grade 7 Buttercup. And today, your teacher will be myself, Floyd Rodriguez. And I am hoping to have a lovely class, an interacting class session this afternoon. So you are free to stop me at any time when you are unclear of any explanation that I have said, and you are free to participate. You can stop me at any time as well. Please listen attentively. Remember, we have objectives to achieve at the end of today's lesson. So I do hope that you are going to enjoy my class this afternoon, and you go home with something with you, right? So to arrive at the topic for this afternoon, I have a poem. Just hold on, let me. Yes. So I have a poem entitled "The Little Plant." As I recite the poem for you, please follow. And then after that, I am going to show you a video reciting the same poem for you as well. So, and here you go. So the poem is entitled "The Little Plant." In the heart of a seed, buried deep, so deep, a dear little plant lay fast asleep. Wakes at the sunshine and freaked to the light, wakes at the voice of the raindrops bright. The little plant poured and it rose to see what the wonderful outside the world might be. And this poem was composed by Kate L. Rock. And now I'm going to show you a video. Please listen, because you'll be asked to come up with a topic that we are going to look at this up. Just hold on a little. Let me put it on your sound.
Little plant.
Are you hearing, students?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, great. So here you go.
The heart of a seed, buried deep, so deep. A dear little plant lay fast asleep. Wake, said the sunshine, and creep to the light. Wake, said the voice of the raindrops bright. The little plant heard. And it rose to see. What the wonderful outside world might be.
Right. So from the poem that I have recited for you, and as well from looking at a short video here, entitled "The Little Plant." So can any one of you students can give me the topic that we'll be looking at today? Any feedback? Yes.
Are we looking at plants? Oh, sorry, I didn't put up my hand.
Sir, I was wondering if we're looking at seeds.
Seeds are right. You're quite correct. You're close there. the point.
How about the development of a seed?
Development of a seed. Very well. That's good. I didn't hear Fiona. Could you
No, I am wrong. I was going to say the plant, but now I
Lance?
have you said that my colleague is correct. So I'll go with
All right. No problem. We are all learning, right? We are here to learn. I learned from you, you learned
or
from
how
me.
plants are made.
How plants are made. Very good. Could you give me a word, one word? There is one word to describe how plants are made or the development of a seed into a plant. Can anyone guess at least? To give me that one word that describe the whole
Sir,
process.
can you give us a hint? Sir, can you give us a hint?
All right. It begins with a letter G. G as in goat or a goal. It's one of the plant processes, right? So G. That's a hint, a letter. The word begins with a G. Anyone
Is it
can guess?
growth, sir? Is it
Pardon?
growth? Growth?
Growth?
Yeah.
Yes, that can work. Yes, but I'm looking for a particular word that would suit the statement. It
So
begins
I
with
just
G.
utilized the internet.
Yes. Sure, you can go
I
ahead.
saw germination because
Sure.
remember, sorry again without putting up my hand, sir. Sir,
Yes, I'm listening. You go
sir,
ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You go ahead.
Yes. Remember, I told you that I thought it meant like how plants grow. My classmate Bradley said develop. So I went to check online, and then I saw germination.
Wonderful, wonderful, fantastic. Yes, that is the word that I'm looking for to describe the process of seed development into a new plant and so on, right? So thank you so much for participating in our activity. All of you, you did a great job, right? So our topic for today will be germination. So we have objectives here that we are going to achieve at the end of today's lesson. So you will be able to, as students, define the term germination. Another objective will be to differentiate between the two types of germination. And then you have describe the stages of germination. So these are the three objectives that we want to achieve at the end of today's lesson. Right, students, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So since we are looking at the germination, so I have an activity here for you. It's a word search. But in order to identify the words in this word search, I would want you to fill in these. There are words in the brackets here, right? Are you following? Can you see my cursor? So
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have words in the brackets and they are missing letters, right? So what I want you to do is that you are going to find those missing letters and you form a word. And after you have filled in those blank spaces with the letters, then you would use this word search to identify the words that you have found in this definition. Sorry about that, students. So I will give you 1 minute.
Sir, you almost gave us the answer there.
Sorry about that. I'll give you 1 minute to get that done. So are you with me? And at the end, I'm going to identify someone to read their definition, right, of the term germination. Are you clear of the
Okay, sir.
instruction? All right, good. So the 1 minute
Yes,
would come
sir.
from now on. So if can go ahead and I will indicate that the time is up. All right, so the time is up, right? Everybody finished? Anyone still
Finish, sir.
finished? All right, good.
Finish.
So
Sir, can I give what I have?
yes, sure, no problem. You can go ahead.
Okay, so I have germination is the process in which the embryo of a plant develops into a seedling. Am I correct?
Excellent. Yes, excellent. Excellent study.
I
For
have that too,
that,
sir.
You have that too? Congratulations. I'm not hearing from
Sir.
Bradley. Bradley, you have that as well?
Yes, sir. Same here. I
Right,
will
so,
send out the words on the
okay. So I have given you the worksheets already. You have it in possession. And so I sent it that through the link in our group chat. So you can get hold of the words sorry. And then try to identify those words that you found: germination. Another word would be process, embryo. Then you have the develops, and then the seedling, right? So you can use the word search that you have there that you downloaded from the chat and try to see if you can identify those and draw a line
Excuse me,
through
sir. I
across.
have finished that. So
You finished that?
if you want, I could share the screen, show my finished product.
Yes, no problem. You can do that.
No problem.
Yes. All right. So Unique and Fiona, were you able to identify those words in the word
You have
search?
to
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Are
Found
able.
I found
yes, go ahead.
sir, I think you have to give Bradley permission to share his screen.
Um, could you at least guide me through? I'm kind of little poor with technology. Could you tell me where to go? I'm now learning just like you are. Students?
No problem,
Oh,
sir.
sir. I
No
think you have
problem.
to go to settings. No, you have to click on his name and you'll see the options coming up.
Okay.
So when you click on his name, you'll be able to make him
More. Go to
the
more.
opportunity.
Good.
Click on his name.
Yes, so I think, yes, Bradley, you are the host now, so you can be able to share your screen. And so let's see your findings of the words. Go ahead, Bradley. Oh, wow, yes. So we have germination there, develops, process,
Embryo.
seedling. Where's the seedling? I'm not,
Seedling.
yes, okay.
Yeah, I see seedling on top of embryo.
Good.
Germination. Good job, Bradley.
Yes, great job. So thank you so much, Bradley, for completing scene for us. So Unique and Fiona, were you able to do that as well?
Yes, sir.
All right.
But
Yes, sir.
I don't know what's happening right now with my device. I'm not getting to share, so I can't show. So I was waiting to see Bradley on to make sure I got those.
Okay. All right, Bradley, thank you so much for sharing your screen with us. I think you have to stop sharing. Great. Right, so thank you again. We go to another slide. Right, so here is the definition. Germination is the process during which the embryo develops into a seedling. And this definition was extracted from CXC textbook by Raghunandan. Right, so it's a process. Germination is a process, and the seed that we sow in the soil would have a part called embryo, and inside the embryo there are two other parts that we call as the plumule and the radicle. And so those two parts in the embryo would develop into a seedling, or sometimes we call them a young plant, right? So those two parts can also be called, well, radical can be called the young root, and the plumule will also, can also be referred to as the young shoot, right? And so when the two develop, they form a seedling. Are you there with me, students? Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Oh,
All right.
sir.
Yes, sir. Good.
Right, so let's move to the types of germination. What I want you to do is that I would like you to look, to observe the pictures there. Actually, there are two types of germination. One is epigel and the other one is the hypogel. So on our left, on the left of the screen, you would see a picture showing a picture depicting epigel germination, the steps. And also on the right, you have the hypogel germination, right? So I want you to use at least 1 minute to observe this picture here, the two pictures rather, carefully. And I want you to come up with at least one difference, right? How differently they are here. So I'll give you that 1 minute to observe the pictures carefully. All right, so 1 minute is up. Can somebody give me any feedback? So we have activity 2 here. You are to identify the difference between the two types of germination. As I mentioned, the two types, the epigel and the hypogel. What did you observe by looking at these two pictures? Anyone?
So the roots are definitely different for me. I don't know if my colleagues see the same. That's how it looks. And the labelings
The labelings,
for
the
the
roots. Uh-huh. Anything else?
cotyledon.
Yes.
The cotyledon look like this one,
Yes. So you're
but the F.
Go ahead. Yes, study.
So I just the root for me.
Okay, sir. I was looking at the hypocotyl. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but for the epigel, the hypocotyl is it's a later process in the hypogel, because we have 3 stages, and then on the third and fourth stage for the epigel, we have the hypocotyl coming out, and for the hypogel, it starts at the second stage. That is one thing I've noticed between the two.
Thank you very much, study, for that wonderful contribution. You are to the point. Thank you as well, Fiona. Is there any other difference?
Sorry, in the epigel, the plumule came up late on the hypogeal. See that in the hypogeal, the plumule came up way before the one in the epigeal from the cotton.
Wonderful, Bradley. Yes. Thank you again, students, for the great contribution. Yes. Um, Let me share my difference there. I have here epithelial termination is the process where the cotyledons are carried above the ground, while hypogeal termination is the process where the cotyledons remain below the ground, right? So these cotyledons here for the epithelial, they are carried above the ground, or they grow above the ground, while the cotyledons for the hypogeal, they would remain underground. Only the well, it should will develop from the side, right, students? And all of your contribution was also wonderful. I love that. So congrats to you, students. So based on the two types of germination that we look at and the difference between each. So I have another activity for you students, activity number 3. So what I want you to do is to give me 2 examples of plants that would undergo each type of germination stated above. So in other terms, I'm trying to tell you, I want you to give me 2 examples of a plant that would undergo epithelial germination and 2 examples of a plant that would undergo hypogel germination. I'll give you 30 seconds to think about it, and then I would like volunteers to give me the examples. Thank you. Here we go. Just 30 seconds. Of 10 seconds remaining. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can I have a volunteer? First volunteer.
Yes, sir. I'll go first.
All right.
Based on my observation from being around mango trees and tamarind trees, I would say that those 2 are epigeo, because I'd often see the young seedling. I would often see the cotyledon above the ground.
Very good, Bradley, for your positive response. You're on the right track. Yes, mango can undergo an epithelial termination as well as the tamarind tree or plant. Very good for your response. Sadiq, I can see you raise your hand there. Could you go ahead?
Sir, can coconut go through hypogel germination? I'm not sure if I'm correct.
So you have just one coconut.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about this one, but pea?
Peas. Do you mean peas? Like
Pea,
impatient
pea.
Pea,
No,
okay.
yeah,
Well, one of your responses, that's the coconut. Yes, that undergo a hypogel termination, but for the P that is stated, well, that would usually go through an epigel termination. So, but thank you very much for your contribution.
sir, with the pea, does it have to be a different type or kind of pea to go under the hypogel germination? Because I think when I said pea, it was in general. I'm not sure.
Pea is a would fall under a leguminous crop, right? So all leguminous crop would undergo a epigel termination. So there is no chance of it. Where the cotyledons would not remain under the ground, it would grow above the ground, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm thinking as I'm going to stray away a little bit from that. I'm thinking about, I have seen this big tree in a mission and they call it the Kamaka tree, where the big roots are out of the ground. So I'm thinking this could fall under the hypogel germination. Is that so? I don't know. I'm just asking if that could go there, because the root normally above the ground, but it's a very large tree. And also pear, would pear fall there too? I don't know, I'm asking.
I didn't hear
They-
which germination you said. Is it
They
hypo or epi?
hypo.
Hypo.
Pear, yes. I'm going to
Pear,
about pear.
pear would have a taproot system. That's one of the characteristic that you would also have under those plants that would go under the epithelial germination. Oh yes, there are two main classes of flowering plants, right, students? Those are the dicotyledonous plants and the monocotyledonous plant. And so all dicotyledonous plant will go will undergo the epithelial germination, while the monocotyledonous plants will undergo the hypogel germination. And when I say dicotyledonous plants and monocotyledonous plants, there are characteristics associated with each one of them. You can research on your spare time to know and to learn more about those two main classes of flowering plants. So pear and the Kamaka plant that we're talking about, Jeanette, those
Yeah.
can be classified as the epithelial germination,
Epigel. Okay, not the hypo.
not the hypo. Yes, Brad.
Oh, okay, sir.
Well,
Sorry, I have a question about coconut. I have seen, right, that for coconut, in that case, I have seen that a coconut drop and it's laid there on the ground and the roots came out from the coconut without it having to actually be in the ground. I've
the
seen
ground.
it like propagate on the ground, like the
Well,
coconut itself above.
Well, for the next class, we will learn about the conditions necessary for germination. So in order for the seeds to develop into a young plant or the seedling, there are necessary conditions needed. So because the coconuts probably had those conditions required, that is the reason why it had to develop from out of the soil. You think you understand?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Pardon me?
Yes.
Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good, very good. So you are new. So anybody else? I think everybody had participated. Thank you very much. So you were able to come up with examples of each of those two types of germination. And so we would go, if there is no question or if there are no questions, to our next subtopic or subheading, which will be stages of germination. And I have a video here for you. I want you to listen to the video, and I want you to, I have a question, just one question for you to answer for. So,
The journey of a seed to a seedling, germination.
can you hear the song, students?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All
Yes, sir. We're here.
The journey of a seed to a seedling passes through many stages of growth. In the early stages, when a seed is placed in moist soil, it absorbs the water around it. The water then reaches the beginning of the baby plant or the embryo within the seed. This makes the embryo grow and increase in size. Eventually, the embryo breaks open the seed coat and comes out of the seed. The root comes out first and grows into the soil. This fixes the baby plant to the soil and helps the root absorb water and nutrients from the soil. Then, the shoot comes out of the seed and starts to grow towards the sun. The first pair of leaves that come out of the seed with the shoot are called cotyledons. The root grows longer. The shoot becomes green and sprouts more leaves. This is a young plant and is called a seedling or sapling. For all these stages of germination, essential conditions or factors are required.
So you have seen the video there based on the stages of germination. Students, are you there with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good.
sir.
So my question to you,
Yes,
and
sir.
anyone can answer the question. How many stages does the seed go through in order to develop into a young plant or a seedling? So how many stages would the seed go through before developing into a young plant?
Said, let me see, 3 stages.
3 stages. Do you agree with Sadiq, the other student?
Sir, I'm looking at the diagram and I would say the number of that is on the diagram, which is 5. Not sure.
Very well said,
I would
Bradley.
go 4. I think
Yes.
4, sir.
4. All right. Anyone else?
Sir, you said before. Sir, you said before it turns into the plant. So I was saying it's 3. So you got before the seed shoots out as a plant. Anyway, I probably got it mixed up.
Okay, my apologies. Probably my question was not structured correctly. Sorry, but there are 5 stages of germination. So the video would have showed you that from the point of sowing the seed to the point of the seed becoming a young plant or a seedling. So it goes through 5 stages of germination. Here as well in the picture, and I like Bradley's contribution. He was observant. He was seeing that based on the picture that is in the that is here in the screen. So he said that there are 5 stages. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So yes. Another word for a seedling is what again? Another question quickly. Let me see if you can recall.
Sir, if I may go, sapling.
Yes, sapling. Very good. You agree with that, Sadiq or Jeanette?
Yes, sir.
Good. Very good.
Yes.
So you are
Yes, sir.
paying, yes, but you're paying attention to the video. Yes, so seedling or the sapling we can refer to as the young plant. And so this has brought us to the end of our lesson. But before we go to the conclusion of the lesson, I want to recap what we have done for today's lesson. Can somebody in the class recap what we did? Anybody?
Okay, sir. So today we would have looked at seed germination, and it stated that it's a process in whereby, as I think it's a process whereby we have the seed, and then it turns into the embryo, and then we moved on to the types of germination, and there are 2 main types of germination. That is the epigeel and the hypogeel, and we discussed the differences, and then we looked at the stages of germination. I'm
The
sure my
5.
colleagues can help me out there
Yeah, the 5
with the other
stages.
stuff.
Yeah. And we also named some different types of plants that fall under the different 2 types of germination.
Thank you very much, Sadiq and Jeanette.
Yes, sir, I
Yes,
agree.
indeed. Yes, brother, yes. So I have a little activity for you here, and it is called a finding seed. That's a kind of a game, right? So what I want you to do is to get a notebook and a pen. I know that you have a notebook and a pen to, at least take down notes, what was said in the explanation and so on. But this PowerPoint will be sent to the group chat so that you can access it and then study for the test. Right, students? So,
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
So this here, for this activity here, I want you to identify the seeds here on each seed, but it's a mixture of a seed and the fruits, right? So I want you to identify seeds that would undergo the two types of germination. You all learned about the two types. What are they again? Anybody?
Epigel and
The
hypogel.
hypogel and the epigel.
So epigel and the hypogel, yes, and we also give two examples of each. So from looking at these pictures here, seeds and fruits, and as you can see there, they have their names there. Take, for example, number one is a black eye seed, number two is a corn seed. So you can see that, right? So I want you to at least identify 4 seeds that can have epigel germination and 4 seeds for the hypogel germination. So go right ahead. You have 2 minutes and then we come back to have. So start from now on, right? You can start. All right, students, so I think time is up. So let's go straight to, can somebody, all right, let me start with Junet. Junet, could you give me the
Yes,
names
sir.
of the seeds that would have epigel germination? So you're going to call them out by the number, right? Number 1, and so other students can follow. For example,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
Go right
Mhm.
ahead.
So I'm going with what I'm doing. What I'm giving you, I'm trying to get them mixed up with the two. I'm doing
For the epigel germination.
the next one. So,
epigel germination.
all right. So for epidemiol, I'm going to go with coconut. I think star apple. I think if I and I don't know what is dragon. I remember.
So you have coconut.
Fox. What is, I don't know what is one, but I think fox tail. What's that? I don't know. And I'm gonna say the melon. I'm not too sure, sir.
All right. So
These are some strange.
Yes, thank you very much for your participation,
Okay,
Jeanette.
but I'm
So that-
learning, yes.
Yes. Good. Bradley, let me hear you.
For which one, sir? Epigel?
Yes.
I would say for sure black eye, chickpea, and I'd have to agree with my colleague and say green melon
Green melon.
and star apple. These are my four.
All right, good. Yes, thank you very much. Sari, let me get your,
So I was thinking black eye would have been epigeal. Cowpea would be epigeal, which is number 6. Number 5 would be oh Lord. I think number 5 is and number 7 hypogeel. For number 2, I think that is hypogeel. And number 8 is epigeel.
that's it. All right, thank you, Sari.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all students for participating. Yes, some of you are on track and well, we are as indicated by Jeanette that we are learning, right? So for the FPGA germination, we have 1, which is black eye, 6 cowpea, 8, which is the passion star apple, which is 11, green melon, which is 10. For the hypogel, we have 2, which is corn, 5, which is rice, coconut, number 7, foxtail. I think this is also referred to as it's a palm, concrete, right? In
Palm, yes,
terminal.
palms.
Palm, yeah, concrete, yes. Right, so those are those can fall under hypogel and epigel. And this has brought us to the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for your participation.
What would China fall? What would China fall under?
Pardon?
It
China?
looked like China to me. What is number 12? What's
Yes,
number
it's
12?
them.
China, I think, would fall under, if I am not, but I still have to research on that. And I can tell you for the next class, right? When we come up.
Okay, sir.
Yes, let's research and that will be our homework. As well,
Yeah.
please read up on the conditions necessary for germination. So when we come back for the next class, I would want to have more interaction like you did for today's lesson and more responses as well. Is that clear, students?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you and thanks for
Yes,
attending
sir.
the class.